With the kids heading back to school in the next couple of weeks, you may be finishing your annual back-to-school shopping. But if you plan for all the extra expenses that come up as the new school year begins, our money man, Bob Ingram from Ameriprise Financial, is here to help you prepare for those hidden costs. We've bought some new outfits and backpacks, but there are other things that go into this back-to-school budget, right, Bob?
Yeah, actually, you're right, Dave. There's a couple of things. With the schools requiring a lot more supplies than they have in the past, so besides the usual pencils and crayons and markers, look for things that they're requiring through a list they'll sometimes send home to families, such as hand sanitizer, tissue, things like that for just for sanitary purposes, for preventing the spread of germs. Also for some of the older kids that are getting into more advanced math classes, special kinds of calculators that can actually add up to $50 to $100. So look for deals online, maybe exchanges, websites to help reduce some of those costs that may be required. In addition to that, school pictures and yearbooks, they come up, and oftentimes you have to have a check right at the beginning of the school year for those. Even though you may not get the yearbook, of course, till the end of the year, you may need those costs now to plan for that. And then also specialty programs, certain classes. A lot of school systems that have special art programs in classes will require fees for those classes, especially some of the equipment or things that they'll be using during those classes. And also programs like the lunch and milk and snack programs, where you write a check at the beginning of the school year, and that covers you for maybe the first semester or even then the entire school year. So build those into the budget, even if you haven't fully spent the money on the shopping items yet.
All right, and then what about additional costs perhaps for families after the school year begins?
Sure, and those are things that a nice thing about that is you can plan now and spread those costs out throughout the year. So start with the pay-to-play. Again, school systems that are cutting back on certain programs are increasing fees to play things like the sports. So whether it's football or soccer in the fall or spring or baseball in the spring, you actually have to pay those costs when you are starting those seasons. So plan for that. Also, lunch budget, of course. If you're having the kids take their lunch or even buy their lunch, set a budget every week, much like you're doing for your normal grocery budget. And then if they exceed that, well, maybe out of the allowance or summer work, they can pick up the rest of the tab or just brown bag it from there. And then also the special events, field trips throughout the year for maybe the younger kids. Work with the school systems and the teachers to find out when those are. What are the scheduled things? Not everything is planned out in advance, but if you can kind of know ahead of time, you can put money away. And then for the older kids, of course, those special milestone years, the junior and senior proms, senior week, dinners, banquets, it all has different costs. And the more you can plan for those things now, you're not scrambling around when the springtime comes and all those costs all hit at once. So a little planning ahead makes it much easier, takes the stress level out, and gives your budget a little kick there.
Yeah, plenty of stress enough anyway, right, Bob?
That's right.
Thanks so much. Our money man, Bob Ingram from Ameriprise Financial. As always, we thank him for joining us on this Monday morning.